Welcome. Let's talk about the summary from down to earth. So this time there have been very important topics that have been discussed. The first one is orchids. Now orchids are really important. They are indicators of pollution control and play an important role in maintaining biodiversity and climate control. Now there have been various efforts that have been done, and VW Sabu's effort in the regions of Kerala have been remarkable, who has collected nearly 200 wild varieties of orchids in the regions of Western Ghats, and he has been trying to develop those in a closed environment and then plant it back into the wild environment. And so far nearly 4,000 plants have been planted in the polyhouse covering 700 square kilometers area, with nearly 200 diverse varieties that have been taken into account. Now 40% of the wild orchids actually thrive well when they receive enough rainfall and sunlight. Some of them fix themselves to the coconut trees and are called as crown trees. 90% of the orchids have witnessed survival rates after such kind of transplant from the garden to the wild areas. Now in the garden it remains for 8 months to 2 years, and then it is transplanted to the natural habitat. And this institution has nearly 5,000 nearly 20 institutions with 5,000 research scholars have been working to see the works of VK Sabu's home. The next is farmers in the regions of Germany, France, Romania have been protesting on road for government's intervention to eliminate tax breaks. Even the rising prices of diesel and higher tax have been one of the major issues. In India, we have witnessed higher inflation, nearly 10% inflation in urban areas, 20% for pulses, 27% for vegetable, 12% in fruit, and 8% in sugar. Even cereals, it's 10%, spices around 20% hike. Overall, the inflation in rural areas is lower, around 5%. In urban areas touching to 10%. Even state-wise, the highest inflation is seen in Odisha, followed by Gujarat, Rajasthan and Haryana. Now, another important topic is Arctic chill. Arctic chill is a phenomena where there is an influx of cold air from the Arctic region in United States and Canada, and this causes all of the sudden drop in the temperatures. Now, the temperature drops reaching to somewhere around minus 20 to minus 51 degrees Celsius in some of the cities, and this has been reported in numerous cities across US and Canada. Now, even European countries have received a blast of cold Arctic air in the regions of UK, Germany, Sweden and France. Now, this abrupt climate fluctuation or temperature fluctuation has prompted the meteorological institutions to work on more forecastings to be done for freezing rain and snowfall in these areas. The next is in the northeast areas, there have been an extensive deforestation. As a result, the birds which were in those areas are now moving to higher elevation because there is a reduced humidity, higher deforestation and rising temperature. Now, the larger bird species in the primary forest have been worst affected because of it. Even colonized logging forests have been one of the major areas which have been affected. The next is the residents have been shifting to organic farming in the regions of Odisha, Sambalpur area in the Jujumara forest, and there have been various families which have been displaced from Bihar have established organic farming in the regions of Odisha. Now, this requires definitely training, knowledge for crafting it. There has been an annual hockey competition which has prompted numerous neighboring villages to come in and generate a source of income. The next is increasing drought conditions. There have been an exceptional areas hit by drought conditions from 2012 to 2021, specifically in the Deccan areas, northeastern areas, and the Indian Meteorological Department, which is IND, releases SPEI, which is a Standard Precipitation Evapotranspiration Index, which analyzes the drought intensity and understands the global warming on a drought severity basis. So, if it has a negative value, minus 0.5 indicates drought, minus 2 indicates exceptional drought conditions. So this data demonstrates the regions of exceptional drought areas across India. The next is peanut. Now, peanut is a legume which grows under the soil, so it pecks, the yellow flowers are seen close to the ground, and then the pecks develop. These pecks ultimately lead to pod which develops under the soil, and this is also one of the best plants for nitrogen fixation. The constituent is oleic acid, which is very good, mufa, which is monounsaturated fatty acid. Also it has elements of pufa, which is polyunsaturated fatty acid, that it lowers the risk of cardiovascular diseases. Now India is the second largest producer and dispatches peanuts to nearly 65 countries in the world. In India, Gujarat is one of the key producers, followed by Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. Now this has been used with various preparations, for example in poha, with khakra, with tapioca pulse, sabudana khichdi, and so on. Now if we talk about the quality of protein, it is believed that the quality of protein of peanuts surpass that present in the egg, dairy product and meat, and it's believed that 28 grams of groundnut would provide 12% of the daily protein allowance to an individual. It also has calcium, iron, vitamin A and vitamin B. Now groundnut oil is also seen in cosmetics, creams, ointments and so on, beauty products. Now seed and improving the quality, as we already mentioned, it has PUFA and MUFA and is good for cardiovascular diseases. The life cycle, as we discussed, is really important, the development of the flowers. Now the history, in 2004 a report was there, Peanut in India, History, Production and Utilization. It believed that Vasco da Gama's arrival with Jesus fathers actually brought the origins from either China or African colonies. Some say it was introduced from Philippines. Others believe that Brazil was the center from where it was first brought to India, but the theory remains still unclear. But the important thing that we know to understand as of now is it demands good water management practices. It's vulnerable to climate change, and therefore we have seen reduction in the production of peanuts recently. Also, we have attributed that there has been 32% reduction in the production of peanut or the groundnut growing regions in Gujarat itself. Unequal growth. Now K-shaped growth. K-shaped growth means some of the sectors are at a rise and the others are at a slump. Now this kind of curve has been seen with most of the nations post-pandemic, that is post-COVID, and this has been considered as one of the major conspiracies for Indian growth. But yes, this is a symbol of the new economic divide that the country and the world could face. So there has to be a very important clear picture, because if a person earns 25,000 in India, it's the person is considered in top 10%. Also, the taxable income is only for 5% of the total population who are paying the income tax, and they are typically the well-employed people in India. The next is the various reports highlighting the monthly, this we have covered. The next is in the regions where we have tiger population, it is believed that on an average, one tiger would consume nearly 50 cheetal in a year. So we require 500 to 600 cheetal or deer in the region annually, but the population is dropped to only 100 to 200. In the region of Palmau in Jharkhand, there are only 3 tigers, and for which we require somewhere of a population of around 5,000, which is required. And if that population increases to 15 to 20, which we aim to for the tigers, it is required that the population of deer should touch somewhere around 25,000. But these population of herbivores and ungulates are decreasing tremendously in these areas. So what is done is they are actually relocated to the Palmau area from different areas, and this is to make them prey for the tiger population, to maintain the ecological pyramid. So the prey base actually becomes a very important thing. Now again, if it is a male tiger, it can cover an area of nearly 30 square kilometers. A female can cover an area of 10 square kilometers, and the density of prey, that should be around 25, and typical it is around 4, which is extensively low. So the population needs to be increased. Now if we talk about some of the wildlife sanctuaries and their expansion and the number of prey in that area, we have certain cases. For example, Ranthambore in Rajasthan has 55 tigers. The individual density of cheetal is 21, which is decent. The sambar is low at around 13. Similarly, in Mukundara Tiger Reserve, the population of nilgai is 3, while Chinkara is only 2. So there are certain studies that have been here, which would be available in the handout, so you can check that there as well. Similar case study is given from Saputara. Now these could be assisted as an independent case study in your answer writing if you are asked about, let's say, ecological pyramid or maintaining the prey base, then this is something that you can supplement your answer with. Translocation of the ungulates and the herbivores actually benefits the zoological park. The next is climate change. Now, Gulmarg is at an elevation of 2,650 meters above sea level. It has experienced uncommon dry in December 2023 and first such occurrence was seen. And this condition has been seen throughout the Himalayan region. Also, there has been a preliminary assessment which has done, which talks about increasing dry spells in the regions of Himalayas and drier forest, which is seen for Uttarakhand, Jammu Kashmir as per Forest Survey. So, all these are an important features that we need to understand. Now, if we look on to 2023, the white region talks about the snow cover, which has significantly reduced in 2024, and that's because of the western disturbances, the weak western disturbances that have been witnessed. Now, town planning is another important aspect. In the Himalayan belt, many of the tier 1 cities do not have a master plan. Some of them, only 8 of them so far, now have a draft master plan which is not yet implemented. But again, this leads to fragile ecological condition, because a region which was sustainable for, let's say, 1,000 people is now accommodating 10,000 people or more, and this creates more vulnerability for the region and issues on safety concerns. So the national average, as we could see, the changing population patterns for most of the cities in the Himalayan belt we have categorized here, which would be again available in the handout. So what we are seeing is basically a congestion that has been seen in the towns and the regions. Now again, as we said, the Himalayan region have been prone to landslides, mudslides, contributing to cloudburst and flash floods which have been seen. Such cases have been extensively reported in the regions of Kullu, in the regions of Shimla, Himachal Pradesh, Dehradun, Rishikesh, Nainital, as some of the places where we have extensive examples from these cases. Now the development capacity, as we said, for the tier 1 cities, the metro cities in 13 Himalayan states possess a master plan for development regulation, but 8 of the cities have only the draft master plan, which includes Kargil, Leh in Ladakh, Kullu in Himachal Pradesh, Shillong in Meghalaya, Itanagar in Arunachal, Kohima and Dimapur in Nagaland, and Imphal in Manipur, mainly the capitals even, as you can see. But when in 1880, there was a colonial era and a landslide first was witnessed during that period, the British authorities talked about construction of prohibition on the hill, and that was nearly a 79-kilometer drainage system of canals and nala, which would surpass along that region to mitigate the risk of landslides in that area. But this was nonetheless brought forward, and as a result we have seen that development occurs without regulation, and this has led to creating more fragile conditions for the Himalayan ecosystem. The next is issues related to climate change. So ash utilization notification, coastal aquaculture authorities rule on coastal aquaculture and related activities, renewable energy, and the draft version for those have been some of the important ones. Other than this, the Cabo Verde is the third country after Mauritius and Algeria which have declared themselves as malaria free. There has been higher amount of heat content which has reached 286 zetajoules seen in the global oceans. A number of tourists have found themselves stuck because of landslides and floodings in China's Uyghur area and also in the regions of Philippines. There has been various regulations that have been brought by European authorities regarding the virtual elimination of fluorinated gas by 2030. Also, estimates have been talked about horticulture crop and increase in the horticulture crop production. There has been destabilization caused by melting of the permafrost, which has increased increase the instability in the region, and this is mainly led to GLOF, which is glacial lake outburst flow. Rajmata, which is one of the oldest India's tigress, is no more, and Rajmata has been important because she played a crucial role when Sariska century was undergoing revitalization, and at that time 25 cubs were born, and this actually reduce the declining population of big cats in that region. The last one is in Kerala. Operation Amrit has been released, which is antimicrobial resistance intervention for total health, that aims to reduce the excess use of antibiotics that is given to the common people. So those were some of the key points that we have discussed in this edition of Down to Earth. Stay tuned for more updates. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thanks for joining in, and of course the handouts are available at Exam Race in the current affairs section, so do watch.